Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Mythbusting here in the Mythbusting world, and it is time to cover the Elytra. Probably everyone's favourite feature in 1.9, it's definitely my favourite feature, and this episode is dedicated to the Elytra. We're going to be doing all sorts of tests, asking all sorts of questions to do with speed, distance, durability and many other things, but we will start off with a little bit of trivia. Did you know that the Elytra is the plural name of the elytron, which is the hardened forewing of an insect such as a beetle or a maybug? I didn't know. I found that out today. Pretty fascinating stuff, right? Anyway, enough with the trivia. Let's jump into our first question, which is what sort of enchantments work on the Elytra? According to the Minecraft wiki, there are two enchantments you can put on the Elytra. One of those is mending, the other one is unbreaking, up to level 3 of course. And I did some testing. I found out that protection does not work on the Elytra. It makes no difference whatsoever. But there is one other enchantment you can put on your Elytra, and that is thorns. But I press this button and it doesn't appear on here, and that's because you can't really do it in the game. You can't even use commands. You can't use an anvil and a book to get thorns on your Elytra. But if you use a little bit of trickery and put it on there, it will actually work. So using external tools, we now have thorns free on the Elytra, and of course we got to equip it for this test. And I have resistance as well because we're about to be attacked and I don't fancy getting killed. Now, this guy right here is our test subject for the thorns. And bam, there you go, he's attacked us. That time he took damage. And it doesn't happen every time of course, and there you go, he takes damage again. So the thorns is working on the Elytra. So the next thing we're going to find out in this video is the top speed of the Elytra, and my buddy Autumn has made a fantastic little command block module here that'll actually tell you the speed you're travelling at on the side of your screen. As you can see over there, we're currently travelling at 0 because we're not flying yet. So let's go up into the sky, let's tap spacebar, and there appears the speed that we are actually travelling with. So we go down, we go a little bit faster, we look up, we start to slow down, and I tell you what, I could probably fly around in this thing all day, but we do have a video to do here, and we are trying to find out what the top speed of the Elytra is. And this is actually where things get a little uninteresting in my opinion. So we're at this ominous place in the sky where we can see the sun above us and the moon below us, and we are at Y2000, which means we can fly all the way back down into the Mythbusting world, and this way we're going to go at the fastest speed possible. So what I'm going to do is double tap spacebar, then tap it again, and now we have engaged the Elytra and we are flying. And as I said, this isn't really interesting because this is basically flying directly downwards, which you're not going to do in survival Minecraft too much, and you're not going to be able to do it long enough to reach the kind of speed that we will. So 156 is the number you should have seen on the side of your screen, and that is for blocks per second. So the fastest that you can fly is flying directly downwards at 156 blocks per second. As I said though, not particularly interesting because this is the same speed as basically falling out of the sky. So I know what some of you are going to say, what about the speed potion? Does it make a difference when you're flying? I think it's extremely unlikely, but of course I've done some testing and here's what I found out. When we're flying, our speed is always changing. We drink a potion of swiftness, and because our speed is going up, you may think, hey, we've just gone a little bit faster there, but that's not what's happened. Let's get rid of this, and what we're going to do now is give ourselves speed 10, and you can see that we're still sort of increasing at the same speed. So if it really did make a difference with something like speed 10, we should have seen something noticeable, which we didn't. And so I think it's fair to say the speed potions don't work with flying. So this next question is for all of you. What do you think is going to affect the durability of the Elytra? It's one of two things. It's either speed or it might be distance. And I can tell you that it's neither of them. It's actually time. So when I jump off this platform, you should see some numbers on the screen, and basically what we're going to do is count the seconds up, and then I'm going to, increase my speed, then we're going to travel forward for more distance, and then we're going to land, and the time should match up on the screen with the durability damage that's been done to this Elytra. So with 432 durability, we can fly for 7 minutes and 12 seconds before the Elytra breaks, which prompts me to ask for how long can we fly with the unbreaking enchantment. Well, this led to a lot of research and maths. To calculate this, things get pretty hairy. We need to plot the binomial probability density function to determine the statistical probability of the unbreaking enchantment success rate, which means thousands of calculations and mind-boggling mathematical confusion. And it was all too much for me. But thank goodness my friend Autumn was around to help out, and he was able to crunch the numbers and turn this information into a simple graph for us to understand. Okay, we all understand graphs, I hope, and maybe this looks a little bit confusing, but don't worry, it isn't. First of all, let's just ignore these numbers over on this side. We want to focus on the numbers at the bottom. These are the uses that you're going to get out of the Elytra. So we've established that you have 432 by default. If you've got unbreaking, you get more uses, and then this is just figuring out the most likely amount that you're going to get. So down here at the bottom, very unlikely to get only 766 uses out of it, and then you are most likely to get around 860 uses if you've got unbreaking 1 on. So then with unbreaking 2, the most likely is around 1,300, and then with unbreaking 3, it's going to be 1,750 odd. And Autumn was also kind enough to throw these numbers together. We've already seen the flight of the Elytra before, but with unbreaking 1 you can fly for over 14 minutes. With unbreaking 2 it'll be around 21.5 minutes, and with unbreaking 3 approaching 30 minutes of flight right there. Fascinating stuff. Now, it just crossed my mind that after hearing that you could fly for 30 minutes straight, you may be thinking, well, that's not really possible in Minecraft. Well, it sort of is, because of the punch 2 bows. You may have seen people using those to get infinite flight. And just a little FYI for you, shooting yourself with an arrow isn't going to damage the Elytra. So just put on a fresh one. I've already tested this several times over. It's not particularly fun to shoot yourself with an arrow. And there we go, 3 of them hit me, and no damage to the Elytra. So this next part of the video is no longer in the myth-busting world, and it's going to be absolutely fascinating. At least I have found it to be absolutely fascinating. And we're in the latest snapshot, because in this snapshot you can give a mob an Elytra and you can make it fly as well. Now we're using commands to do this, and in here there is information that says when this mob is going to spawn, which is a witch by the way, that it will be flying, it's equipped with an Elytra, and we can also manipulate what way it faces, which is really important because I wanted to do these tests in order to find out what was the most optimal way to travel, to go the furthest distance. So let's summon in this witch, and you can see that she's flying, and she's also got no AI as well, which means she'll make no decision to decide and go somewhere else. So if we do this again, there she goes to the exact same spot, and I'm just going to hold down right click, and there's going to be a bunch of them, and you can see that because of no AI they take the same route each time. So we can change the rotation of the witch over here, which means she'll pick, or well, she won't pick, we've picked it for her, but she'll go off in a different direction. And we can change the, I forget what it's called, but the looking up and down, maybe that's called pitch. And if we put in 20 there, which is quite a bit, she'll look down at the ground, and therefore she'll get to her destination a little bit quicker, or technically be further away from it, right? Because the other one got further along. Anyway, if we change it to minus, that means she'll be looking up, and you can see that she doesn't get anywhere near as far, or actually she bumps into the back of the last one, but it takes her longer to get there. So with this test, what we are trying to determine is what is the most optimal pitch to fly at. And if I press F3, what you want to look at is where it says facing south towards positive Z. The very last number right there is looking up and down, and I want to find out which one is the most optimal to travel the furthest distance. And if we press this button, we're going to summon in a whole bunch of witches all at once. And there they all go. And that is something I didn't think I was going to see in Minecraft, but there you go, I've seen it now. What is this about? And this is the way that they land right here, like that. And it shows you that the one in the middle has travelled the furthest. And the one in the middle was with the number 0. For the one that I just talked about. And then going off to one side, I do believe it was minus, so they were looking up. Going over to this side, it was a positive number, so that they were looking down. So all of these ones landed here first, which means when you look down, you're going to travel faster. And all of these landed last, so, looking up will make you go slower. And if we just go up into the sky, you can see, though, something important here is that the ones that are traveling faster actually get further away. And if you are to look upwards, you're going to slow down and you're going to land further away from your destination. So that was a lot of information, wasn't it? And I've brought on a camera account because we definitely want to see some more of this. And it's really quite simple. If you just travel facing straight forward, not looking upwards or downwards, you are going to travel the furthest. If you look downwards, you're going to get there quicker. And if you look upwards, you're going to get there slower. And you'll also probably lose some distance as well. Let's keep doing this. This is quite funny watching the witches fly. So it's actually what you'd probably guess it to be if you sat down and gave it some thought. But it's always a good idea to do these experiments and see things in action as well. Alright, let's get crazy. Let's bring a lot of them in now. What a sight this is. Oh, I think I nudged some of them. Oh, the things you can do in Minecraft, right? And that is a crazy sound. So I've got a few more questions to answer, and what I generally do is tweet out when I'm making an episode of Myth Busting and see what your questions are. And I've had a few come back in that I thought were interesting. One of them is, can you take off your elytra mid-flight and put it back on again? And the answer is yes, but only if you're a complete daredevil. Let's take off the elytra, down we go, we're going to put it back on again, we're going to tap spacebar, and everything is going to be just fine. Next question is to do with elytra durability and if it will continue to go down when you are trapped in cobwebs, because sort of looks like you're flying when you're in the cobwebs, right? And if we press E, you'll see that our durability is going down because of course we are still flying. And by the way, if you face outwards like this, you will actually eventually make your way out of the cobwebs and be able to continue to fly. Just like that. So this is without a doubt one of my favourite tests to do here in the world. We've done this one before, it is the splat test, but this time we're doing it with some protection armour on, and as you can see, we did not take as much damage as we have done before. If you've seen this test, usually we go down to 1.5 hearts. So what we're going to do is now take off my helmet and repeat the test again. Here we go, bam, and there you go, we've taken more damage. So once again, going to remove some protection and repeat the test. And if it isn't clear what exactly it is we're doing, we're testing to see if protection will reduce the amount of damage from when you collide with something, which I do believe is called kinetic energy. And from the several tests that we have done on camera and the many I've done off, you can clearly see that it does make a difference. So protection will reduce your collision damage when you're flying. And that is it for this episode of Minecraft Mythbusting. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like, and of course leave any questions you got about the elytra in the comment box down below, because I'm sure there's many more tests we could do on the elytra and perhaps make another follow-up episode. But anyway, that's going to be it from me this one. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.